Thank you and good afternoon. So my name is Olivier. I am the CEO of CorQuest MedTech, and it's my pleasure to present MiTrax, or transcatheter mitral repair technology. The disease that we are tackling is known by many of you as mitral regurgitation. This disease is big, it's complex, and it's severe. It's big because it's touching, roughly speaking, 2% of the population. If we take US and Europe only, it's about 20 million people presenting MR. Out of those, 4 million people are in urgent need of treatment. But only 150,000 to 200,000 procedures are done every year. So it's big, but it's really underserved. It's complex because the root causes are diverse. You can have a structural issue with rupture of the chordae, elongation of the chordae leading to prolapse, but you may have as well dilatation of the annulus leading to functional MR. And it's severe because it's leading to, well, respiratory, cardiac symptoms, potentially to death. It's a disease that is severe for patients that present it. So typically, a patient today goes to the hospitals or the doctor. The current practice would be to propose an open heart surgery. You all know that it's very invasive, it's traumatic, and many of those patients are frail, they are old, they are not eligible. They don't get the treatment. So today, we have one more option, is the TEER, the transcatheter edge-to-edge repair, with 2 products commercially available, MitraClip and Pascal. And it does work, so it's an effective treatment for many of those patients, but many of those patients present residual MR. Is this something that we want? And there are very specific anatomic limitations to the clip. Are those patients clippable? If they are not clippable, the only remaining options today is potentially to enroll in a transcatheter mitral valve replacement. Several products and projects are on the way. Hopefully, some will enter the market in 2025. But the conclusion is this is not enough. Not enough options for many patients suffering with MR. So at CorQuest, we thought about a grid. It's a disruptive, pretty innovative approach. So with a transfemoral approach, we will deploy a mitral grid in the left atrium. We will position the grid supraannular on top of the mitral annulus and anchor posteriorly and anteriorly the grid on the annulus. This idea is protected with US patents. We have PCT submitted in freedom to operate. And the question is, fine, how does the grid do the job? Or what job does it do? The grid and the solution is made of 3 components. So the grid, it's a nitinol polished grip. We have designed specifically helical screws that will be anchoring the grid at each distal tip of the branches. And of course, we need the delivery catheter that is there to bring all that to the left atrium. The job is done by 2 ways. First, it will prevent the leaflet to prolapse, to go above their coaptation plane. So any prolapse, multiple prolapse will be blocked by the grid. The leaflet will stay in an effective coaptation position. And secondly, it will connect the anterior side and posterior side of the valve, preventing dilatation of the annulus. We cannot really claim that it will reduce an existing dilatation, but we've seen on sheep that is stabilizing the annulus and preventing further dilatation. So far, we're still an early-stage startup, so we are still in that design phase. We've done ex vivo animals, we've done in vivo. 10 sheep have been implanted with MiTrax, initially surgical access. And we've been following those sheep for 90 days, with the last experiment ending this Monday. I'm still waiting for the data and the report, but an exciting time, 90 days follow-up with an implanted MiTrax grid. And the results so far have been the following ones. So we've seen an efficacy in reducing or eliminating DMR, the regurgitation coming from a P2 prolapse that we've created ourselves by cutting the chordae. We've seen a good anatomical fit between the grid and the sheep, the ovine model. We've seen no tissue damage. So, big questions we had is what if those leaflets will enter in contact with the grid 100,000 times a day for a long period of time. And the good news is we have no damage on the leaflet, and we have no thrombocytopenic infections or no other complication. So very satisfied with the progress so far with the grid. Of course, the grid has to come with the anchors. As I've said, we've made a big research and still believe that the helical screw is the most effective anchoring approach and design for the mitral annulus. We've tested that on ex vivo and in vivo. So the 90 days sheep we've been following had a grid anchored with our own screws. The catheter came as a third work stream, so we are a bit less advanced on the catheter, but we will be implanting a first matrix grid transcatheter at the end of this year, October, November 2024. So progress are being made, and so far things are going very well. So it's a boiling space, many different options, many different techniques. Cardiologists and engineers have been very creative in the mitral field over the last decade. Of course, so why MiTrax and what MiTrax compared to others? So here, few techniques. Edge-to-edge has its limitation, anatomic limitation, potentially risk of stenosis. So it can work for some patients, but not all of them. The annuloplasty transcatheter so far has been seen as very complicated, and we all know projects that have been stopped because of the lengthy procedures and complex procedure. Chordal repair seen as well as being fairly complex, but potentially new project will come and make me wrong. And we see MiTrax as a solution treating both structural MR and preventing functional MR. So pretty versatile, tackling different pathologies. And of course, we are building it to be simple, safe, and fast. A question that still have to work on is the redo. What if we have to go back? We have a grid there in the mitral annulus. This is something to manage if we have to go back for a redo procedure. The team is still a small team. We are 5 in the team. The team is built around Professor Didier Decuypere. He's a cardiac surgeon with experience in Europe and in the US. He's been an entrepreneur, had created a company in the past and sold it to St. Jude, so used to this entrepreneurship spirit and medtech field. So I joined them 2 years ago with 18 years experience at J&J MedTech, and now experimenting the startup life. I brought on board another cardiologist, or let's say clinician, Ludovic Melli from Switzerland, and we have as well a medical engineer. The rest is outsourced with very excellent partners. And of course, we set up a nice advisory board with a mix of cardiologists and surgeons because they bring very different values to the table. As a cardiologist, we have, for example, Olivier Decuypere working in Denmark and seeing, roughly speaking, half of the diseased mitral valve in Denmark. So plenty of experience and guiding us in terms of adjusting the project. This is the roadmap. So today we're looking for 6 million euro, but to do what? The next big milestone will be to deliver the full functional prototype by early 2025, mid-2025. So it means a grid, anchors, and catheter working nicely together with implantations and good results. From there, we will be working on preparing the first in man that we are planning for early 2027. And as you all know, we have a lot of steps then after that clinically to potentially get to market. So we're looking for 6 million euros to get ready for the first in man. And we hope to close that by the first half of 2025. So MiTrax, why MiTrax? Because there is a big unmet need. The disease is big, complex, and severe, and underserved. Repair is better than replacement. We've seen that from surgery. The patients that are repaired do better in terms of survival rate than replacement. TEER is a good option, but it's the only option, and we need more solutions for many more patients. So happy to chat later on with you, and thanks a lot for coming this afternoon. Thank you.